be very clear about what you want. Do your job, use relevant, powerful, updated words to tell your mind what you want, and then your mind will do its job and get it. But if you say, I want attention, you could have a nervous twitch, you could have explosive gas, you get loads of attention, but that's not what you want. We have no idea how powerful. I mean, in our TT, the therapy that I created, people come in and go, hey, I weigh 400 pounds. I've got a nervous twitch. I've got contact dermatitis. I say, wow, you created that. How powerful for you to make your body 400 pounds. And if you could create it, you can uncreate it. And we see amazing things in our TT. I worked with a girl who had hyper skin sensitivity. Like, she literally couldn't leave the house because every time she went out, she would burn in normal daylight. So she could only go out in the dark, and she was a coach. You can imagine how limiting her life was. But when I asked her to tell me about her early years, she said, well, I was really bullied at school. And I asked my mum a lot, can I stay home? And she said, don't be ridiculous. Of course you can't stay home. You've got to go to school. She goes, but Mum, I don't like it. I'm being bullied. Well, just suck it up, fight the bullies. And she said, I actually long to stay at home. And that's a decision unconsciously. As a little girl, she said, I wish I could stay at home every day and not go out. For the mind is the genie. Your wish is it's, come on, when you go, I wish I could stay home and never leave the house. And now she's got this license. I wish I could stop my mum's boyfriend looking at me in that weird sexual way. And now I've made my body really bigger. I wish I could not have to deal with all this pressure to be a perfect student. And now I've got panic attacks and insomnia, and I can't even go to school. So it's a really good idea to take a look. But what decision did you make when you were 5? One of my clients said, my dad would lie on the sofa like this every day going, oh my God, my ulcer. This is the price you pay for having your own business. There's no time off. There's no sick pay. It's killing me. And she thought, wow, if that thing called job is killing you, I don't want a job. I'd rather have no money. And she said, I don't understand why I can't succeed. But back she went to a small child watching the father taking pills and saying, this job will be the death of me. This commute is killing me. These customers are making me want to die. And we don't understand how what we hear impacts us. Oh, marriages are hell. Oh, it's killing me to have a baby. It's a nightmare dealing with customers. And half of what we know, we've learned before we were 5.
Yeah.
But the big thing is to understand that wasn't your belief. That was your father's belief. That was his story, not yours. Your mother's thing about all men let you down. That was her story. It's not your story. One of my clients said, I'm a firewoman, I don't know what you call it, but not a fireman, I'm a firewoman. Yeah. And I will not let my husband put up any shelves in the house. I can change a tire. And she remembered being a little kid in Ireland and being in the street with her mother, and her father's best friend came up and said, it's such a shame you haven't given your husband a son. You're not a man without children. He'll never be a real man because he's got 4 daughters. And I heard that and thought, oh, I should have been a boy. And in that moment, she began to be the son her father never had. She wore short hair. She always wore shorts and trousers. And then she went into the fire service and became the head of it. Nothing wrong with that, except that she couldn't understand this need she had to be masculine and not feminine, when in fact, of course, you can be both. You can go into the fire service and you can put up a shelf, but it wasn't a joy for her. It was this drive to, I've got to be something I'm not. And then you have to go, well, maybe my dad did want a boy and my mom, but the universe wanted me to be a woman. And it wanted me to, and it decided I should be a girl. So I should celebrate being female. So it's really taking a look at the messages you picked up, the lessons, what our TT does. So Well, and does it immediately within 5 minutes of seeing an RTT therapist. You begin to see, oh, I actually made a decision. I didn't know that. I made a request. I had no idea I even did that. But my mind is the genie. My wish is its command. So why don't I just make another wish? I don't want to be rejected, so I'll never date someone. Becomes, I can't be rejected, so I can find love. I don't want to be hurt, so I'll avoid all kinds of situations. Now I'm not living a full life. I didn't go to college, so who am I to go out there and be amazing? Who are you not? Lots of people didn't go to college and are amazing. So look at the decision you made and remind yourself of the truth. You made that decision when you've been on the planet for 5 or 6 or 7 years, and you didn't even know what you were asking for, but you were very powerful because you created it. And now you don't need that anymore. So use your power to make a better decision. You know, your mind's job is to give you what you want, and your job, and it's a great job, is to tell it. It's like saying, I want to be pregnant. Well, you could be pregnant 8 times. That doesn't mean you're ever going to have a baby. I want love. For how long? An afternoon? A night? Or the rest of your life with someone amazing? I want money. Well, I can give you £10. Is that what you want? So clear about what you want. Do your job. Use relevant, powerful, updated words. Tell your mind what you want, and then your mind will do its job and get it. But if you say, I want attention, you could have a nervous twitch, you could have explosive gas, you get loads of attention, but that's not what you want. I want attention for being amazing, being profound, having a message. I want more money because I'm worth it. I want this amount, and I want to make it. I want this kind of love. It looks like this. So tell your mind what you want clearly. Don't leave any room for misunderstanding. You wouldn't go to the salon and go, hey, could you cut my hair? And look up and go, oh no, I didn't want that cut. You have to go, this is what I want. You wouldn't, you're a decorator. Could you decorate my house while I'm at work? And I go, oh no, I hate that. You'd say, this is exactly what I want. The more specific you are about what you want, the more you will get it. Because your mind's job is to give you what you want, but your job is to leave no room for misinterpretation at all. So be a team with your mind.
Yeah, it's so powerful. And I think even just learning from what you've learned from your parents, like I always had this, like, why, you know, I had such money blocks for so long. And then I did so much work around the fact that my mum hated people with money because she never had any and she resented everyone with money. So I learned that if I earned money, my mum would hate me. So it's like heal all of that. And now she's like super proud of me. But you know what? In that, I actually even had a little moment to myself when you were talking about, obviously we learn a lot of this from our parents. In my head, I was going to say to you, like, God, it makes you petrified to be a parent. And in that moment, I realized I have that actual, like, having children is like all I want. It's literally all I want. And it's one thing in my life that I'm like aware that it hasn't happened. And I'm like, maybe that's a belief that I have. Like, I'm petrified to be a parent because my mum gave me so much shit that I had to work through.
Petrified is such a powerful word. And when you use a powerful word, your mind goes, oh, if you're petrified, I can switch off your fertility. If you use I'm terrified. One of my clients, who is a very famous model, said, I've got this job for a massive makeup company. I'm terrified. And I've got to go and ski down a mountain. I'm terrified. When I go on a plane, people look at me after. I said, but that's not terrifying. That's your dream come true. If you use the word terrifying, you live in terror. If you use the word petrified, you live in terror. If you use the word, you know, this is, people say in America, I'm losing my shit. I'm like, no, you're not. You were, we'd all have left the room. You wouldn't be walking around in white jeans. Why would you say that? And so we use these very powerful words. This is killing me. I'm dying here. My kid is making me go insane. No, they're challenging you. So the best advice is, if you're talking about something negative, turn down those words. Don't say this is killing me. Say it's challenging me. Don't say this is a nightmare. Say, well, it's a situation. Don't say I'm terrified of being a parent. So I'm so excited. There's so many great books. I'm going to be an amazing mom, because there are many people who had an awful childhood, or amazing parents. Other people had an amazing childhood who are not good parents because they don't understand what it's like. And so turn down the negative words and turn up the positive. Don't say I'm all right. Say I'm freaking amazing. I'm awesome. I'm on fire. I'm incredible. I'm a force to be reckoned with. I've got something amazing to offer the world. And just being able to massively big up the good words while minimizing negative ones, that in itself is actually life changing. You know, I used to say when I was a parent, I was a single parent, this is stressful. Then I thought one day, why am I even saying that? I was told I could never have a baby. I wanted this gorgeous little squidgy thing so much. She's my non-stop joy. So I stopped saying it's stressing me out and said, well, it's a challenge, but you know, she's an age appropriate kid. And that actually was a game changer for me, just taking out that word. People say marriage is such hard work. Said who? It's hard work being single, waking up with the flu, having to get someone to go to the store and get you some cold medication. Marriage isn't hard work. It's wonderful. You've got someone who's got your back, and they've got someone to wake up to and come home to. Your school days are the best days of your life. How can that be, that the first bit is the best bit and then it's all downhill? You've got to challenge these silly beliefs that we tell ourselves.
Check out my next video here. Play the only part we've ever known, and then you make that part your own. Where you go, you know what? I think it's time for a new part. I was told I could never ever have children. My whole RTT training was based on being told I couldn't have a baby,